So you've heard a lot about police brutality and stop and frisk, and they call it no broken windows policing, right? And that old theory came on, well, you attack the smallest crimes, the quality of life crimes, if you attack those, and then that lowers the crime everywhere, which... So what that means is the police will then terrorize poor black and brown people. And that's what happened in New York City, because we all know where the crime's really happening. It's happening on Wall Street. That's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. Literally. So if you stop and frisk guys on Wall Street, you're going to turn out coke, meth, pot in their pockets. You're going to find them there. They're going to have guns on them. Also, when they go into the buildings... They go in and do nothing but criminal activity that crashes our economy and is considered, used to be considered illegal. So, or like, how about the bank HSBC, right? That got caught laundering hundreds of millions of dollars in drug money. Everybody knew it. Nobody got prosecuted, because they said it would upset the banking system too much. But if you get caught selling Lucy's on the street in Staten Island, we will dispatch 5 cops to choke you to death in broad daylight. So that's what I'm talking about. The broken windows policing, which is just terrorizing black and brown people. They stopped and frisked more black people that live in New York City. Millions of black people stopped and frisked, terrorized in their own neighborhoods, turned into criminals. So here's a guy, ex-New York police detective, also now works at the John Jay College. So he's kind of a thinker about this stuff. Here's what he has to say about Rudolph. By the way, Rudolph Giuliani, that was his big, and Bratton, Chief Bratton, that's their big thing. The broken windows policing. We go start at the street level. Here we go. That's what this guy has to say about it. Here's a guy who knows something about it. Eugene O'Donnell, former New York Police Department, now at the John Jay College. Let's hear what he has to say.
Heart to heart, concerning conversation with people that's empathetic and really grasps issues. There is an unlimited appetite for that in inner city America.
So he's talking about, he's responding to Mayor Rudolph Giuliani not having an empathetic conversation with the black people in New York City. And he's saying for a leader to have an empathetic conversation, there's endless need for that, appetite for that. He just said that. Now he goes on to talk about.
But what we saw with the broken windows policing, by the way, this was imposed by think tanks, never really validated. A lot of it was quackery, to be honest with you. Not the idea that the police proactively are important. The idea that there was some science to it.
Right.
That if you did 100,000 stops, the city was a certain level of safety. 200,000, it was twice as safe. 300, that was quackery, and that was imposed. And by the way, some people would be very surprised if they talk to cops. A lot of the old-time cops actually would have resisted this whole simplistic thing. It was imposed on them by political people and outsiders. This was never something the police came up with.
Heather, this to me is a key thing because...
So there's a guy saying, by the way, that whole policing philosophy, there was never any evidence for it that it worked. It was imposed on us from think tanks, and real cops don't like it. And that's the stuff they've been patting themselves on the back for ever since Rudy Giuliani became mayor of New York City. And they're still doing it. Quality of life crimes. And he's saying it's BS. All it is terrorizing black and brown neighborhoods. That's it. That's all it does. You're taking the state, you're giving them a gun, you're saying, go mess with these people. Go mess with them. And do it every day. And I don't care if they committed a crime or if they didn't. You know there's something wrong with them. You stop them. You harass them. And we know that's what happens. So, it's not a bad apple. This is the culture. This is the culture. This was the whole big theory. This is the policing theory. The policing theory, broken windows, is go harass people. Go harass people. Be preemptive, proactive. Proactive mean if someone's not committing a crime, go fuck with them, especially if they're black and brown and young and male. And he's letting you know it's all bullshit. And here's another thing you never hear from police anymore is de-escalation. What happened in Baton Rouge was the cops showed up. There was no violence. Cops showed up. There's going to be violence. Baton Rouge, cops show up. There's going to be violence. Same thing in Ferguson. Cops show up. There's going to be violence. Minneapolis, cops show up. There's going to be violence. Staten Island, cops show up. There's going to be violence. There's a park in Cleveland. Cops show up. Somebody's getting shot. Sandra Bland, she's going to be dead. She came in contact with cops. Doesn't work out well. What did she do? Nothing, literally. So what you never hear is them say de-escalate. Here's the mayor of Miami. By the way, Miami, the Justice Department sued them. They had to come to an agreement on policing. That's how bad it was in Miami. The racist tendencies inside the Miami Police Department. It was proven. So the Justice Department had to then come and have them agree to stop doing that stuff. And here's what the mayor says.
I think, first of all, good afternoon and thank you. I think that many cities should follow the model of Miami. In 2010, Chris, we had 7 civilians killed by police officers. And then we took measures. We took measures, and for 2 years now, we have been hiring professors from FIU, a university here in South Florida, and we're teaching each and every one in the Miami Police Department. We have 1,400 officers of diversity and de-escalation. And that's important because Miami is a very unique place.
So you just heard the mayor say we have college professors that come talk to our cops, that teach them about multiculturalism. We teach them about the Latino communities, and they teach them de-escalation, to de-escalate violence. That's not what cops do now. Cops escalate violence. If there's a problem and you call cops, there's going to be a bigger problem. There's going to be more violence. I don't know how many videos we got to show you to show that. And that's exactly what's happening in Baton Rouge. So are there, ironically, it was in Dallas where the police chief there actually has an idea about policing, about actually trying to make his police force responsive to the community. Ironically, that's where those killings happened. So that's what I'd like to hear more of. More of, hey, we train our cops to be peace officers. Not, hey, we train our cops to wear combat gear, and if anybody looks at them cross, they go beat the fuck out of them. Because that's where we are now.